YouTube. I'm just here with my friend, the log, the 135-pound log that I need to add weight to so that it can be the competition weight of 221 for my strongman show coming up that I'm going to be doing next month. I got about 6 weeks away, and so one of the things I haven't been practicing because I took a few weeks off of working my good old log. Whoa, she's heavy. So I'm going to work on this today with a couple other upper body support exercises. Plus, today is going to be a new, unique format. Kyle here is going to be asking me some general questions that are found online as it relates to fitness, and I'm going to give my opinion on those fitness-related questions. Now, caveat, warning, beware. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm just telling you what I think. If you need scientific research and resources, there's good guys out there that'll do that for you. But I'm not a good guy. I'm a guy that just says what he wants. So that's what you're gonna get here today. I hope you enjoy this video. Hope you enjoy hanging out with me during this workout and hearing me answer these questions. Working on speed today with this.
Yo, Elliot, what is your definition of being a man?
Oh, wait a second. I thought you were asking me fitness questions.
The switch up.
Oh man, caught me off guard. Okay. A human person in physical flesh that includes a penis. Pretty much. Now, I know that might sound strange in our transgendered world, but only men actually have penises. And so, if you have a penis and a set of balls, you're a human man. Is that legit?
Yeah.
Okay. They want some kind of philosophical answer, some esoteric jargon. But I think that's what's gotten us so confused. Everything's this ephemeral waste space, wasteland, where we make up our own definitions, and I have my truth. But that doesn't exist. There are some things that are truths and some things that are false. Men have penises, girls have vaginas. Does anybody remember watching Kindergarten Cop? Was it Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger? And he goes in, I guess he's a cop, but he goes in to be a kindergarten teacher. And there's a little boy in that story that's just in a very innocuous way, like kindergartners do, raises his hand and says, boys have penises and girls have vagina, right? And so it was kind of like funny and it was cute because that's what kids say because they discover things and they recognize what's going to get a rise out of people. Then they put in the movie. I guess the movie's like from the late 80s or early 90s, so that was okay. People were allowed to say stuff like that and it was thought of as comedy. Now you can't do that. You can't get away with it. But anyway, I was hanging out with one of my friends, or a couple of my friends and their kids. They have smaller kids, about kindergarten age. And you know, as kids do, they were like talking back and trying to be funny with each other. One of them called me a poo-poo head, right? So it was my friend's daughter. She goes, "You're a poo-poo head." And I was like, okay, potty mouth has begun. And I go, well, guess what? Boys have penises and girls have vaginas. And all their faces dropped. And she looks at her mom like, is that true? And she started laughing. The mother started laughing. Because in her class, there are boys that wear dresses, right? I don't get it, kindergartners. So for her, that was like mind-blowing. Rather than for, you know, a kid from the 90s, it was like, let's giggle. Anyway, that's the world we live in. So if you notice, I'm practicing my push press a little bit here today. I was doing viper presses, and I was doing like different kinds of things with the heavier weight. I think I got up to, did I get up to 300? Almost. No. Pretty close, yeah. Then I like, you know, in Ehos fashion, destroyed myself and had to back off for 3 weeks. Then I got COVID. Hey, Fooey, how do you get that ball? Leave him. Yeah. Anyway, I forget what I was saying. Yes, push press or jerk. Practicing my jerk, which means when I get it here, I do a jump, try to do it quickly.
Yo, Elliot, how often should I rest?
How often should you rest? Well, first of all, 8 to 10 hours a night of sleep is a really good idea. How about when you're not lifting in the gym, you rest, right? When you're not working out, what are you doing? You're resting. But here, there's something called passive recovery and active recovery. I think you kind of need a little bit of both, right? Like passive recovery is when you're sleeping. Right? You're not doing anything when you're sleeping, but a whole lot's going on the inside. It's very important for your hormones and your recovery. And then you have active recovery, which means you're resting, but you're resting in an active way. So like taking walks, nice bike rides, stretching, things of this nature. And it's good to combine the two of them because active rest supports your recovery just as, or sometimes more so, than passive rest. One of the forms of passive rest that kind of as a happenstance in my life sometimes, which sucks, is like if I have to drive like 4 hours, right? I moved away from St. Pete, and so I have to drive 4 hours some days. And so I'm resting, but it's not a productive rest because I'm sitting in a flexed position and I'm kind of cramped in the car. So anyway, I wouldn't consider that like a rest day because I don't end up feeling better, right? Rest should make you feel better, right? I feel worse after that. So, you wanna know how much to rest? Well, there you have it. Make of it what you wish.
Yo, Elliot, what are the best ways I can increase my sexual market value?
Well, from what I understand, and what I can clearly see, that for a man, his market value only increases through his 20s and peaks by his mid-30s, right? Because what I like to say is sometimes that you're still a teenager up until age 24, right? Because if you consider the clock, right? The clock and the calendar, they're by divisions of 12, right? 0 to 12 is one phase of life. 12 to 24 is a second phase of life. 24 to 36, it's when you hit that next phase that you start maturing into your career. You start to have a little bit more swag and confidence as a man. You actually start looking more adult-like as a man, and that's attractive, right? More money, more mature body, more mature mindset. All these things increase your attractiveness, right? And regardless of what people say or what feminism has taught, women prefer to be with men that they can look up to, right? So being a little bit older and dating down, meaning younger women, is a solid strategy for attraction. Women never want a man that's less than them, a man that makes less money than them, a man that's younger than them generally, a man that's less attractive than them, right? Like, based on hypergamy, a woman wants to trade up. Well, I think most people want to trade up, right? So these are all things to take into consideration. Now, what do you do in your 20s, from 24 to 36, while you're on that path to increasing your sexual market value? Well, all the things I'm talking about. Become more attractive by working out, right? That's the first step. That's the very first thing that I came to YouTube to start teaching you guys about. Nobody was asking about sexual market value and the meaning of the universe and what is a man to me, right? Because the insertion point, the place to begin always in this realm of becoming a man is use your freaking body, right? That makes you more attractive. You also are gonna be smarter, more clear-headed because you have more blood flow to the brain rather than someone who's flexed over at a computer all day long or craning their neck looking at their screen. Exercising also improves your hormonal profile, right? You're gonna have more testosterone. A guy who lifts has more testosterone. A person who has more testosterone looks like they have more testosterone. Did you know that? Low T shows up as skinny fatness, sort of a lackluster attitude and dullness in the eyes. The man who has high testosterone, because he's exercising, he's using his body, everything from his jawline to his posture are going to improve. They're going to get better. His confidence is going to go up. Work on your career. I get it. I know that this generation is work averse, right? Because there's so many options, so many opportunities to do lazy work and make money, right? Everybody wants that quick rich shit, right? But that doesn't build your character, right? So go work your way up in a company, start your own company, start your own business, be a legitimate entrepreneur, not a wantrepreneur. These guys who, like, because they have an Instagram page and a YouTube, they think that they're an entrepreneur. No, learn how to make money, right? Money increases your sexual market value regardless of what your mama told you. The more you earn, the more attractive you are as a man. So these are just a few things that you want to work on. If it means your education, right? Do all these things. But always improving yourself as a man. And that's really the key aspect of increasing your sexual market value. Women don't want to be with men that are less than them, right? Even shorter, right? I know there's nothing we can do about that, right? Us sub 6 foot guys, right? Like, what am I gonna do? I don't know, 5'9". I'm not gonna grow that. But keeping in consideration that same aspect, that women don't want a man that they can look down on, right? Or look up to. That's my opinion anyhow.
Yo, Elliot, what are your thoughts on Lil Nas X? I saw you use his song in an Instagram video the other day. That's my bad.
So, first of all, I hate pop culture, all of it, especially anything new, because it's become more satanic over time. And second of all, I don't add music to my videos. This guy over here does. Take a look.
My bad.
Right? So, it's funny because Lil Nas X represents the pinnacle of all I hate about popular culture, right? So number one, obviously, he's into devil worship and demonic stuff, right? He's selling sneakers with blood in it. He's got a video where he's giving the devil a lap dance, which is like leads me into the other side of the situation. He's one of these guys who gets the kids excited about his music, right? He had that like cowboy sounding music back in, a couple of years ago, which I thought was nice because I like country music. And then the next thing you know, he's got like 5-year-olds listening to his music because it's kid friendly. And then he's posing with like dresses on and like a big belly, like he's pregnant, and confusing our children in terms of the most fundamental building blocks of human life, which is their sexuality, or the woke term today they say is gender. So from the rooter to the tutor, the dude to me is worthless, useless, and the fact that Kyle put him on my video made me roll over in my grave. I died that day.
I learned my lesson. Never use Lil Nas on Elliott's channel again.
Right. Country music, reggae, classical music, flamenco. It's so formulaic. It's so obvious that these are Hollywood-created creatures. He may have even been cloned or made in a fucking test tube or something like that. Even the name, Lil Nas X. Everything is so non-unique. Everything is so generic these days. Everybody's a fucking Lil. Lil this, Lil this, Lil dick, Lil head, Lil fucker. Everybody's a fucking Lil. Nas, you can't even come up with your own name, so you use one from a legitimate old school rapper, Nas. And then what are you, Muslim? What are you, from the Nation of Islam with your X? What are you, like Malcolm X, but the degenerate version of him? Right? I don't understand. Where did they come up with this shit? It's pure perversion. I would like to know what Farrakhan thinks about you being an X, right? He will probably slap you, right? I would like to know. Degeneracy. And you know what? It's the worst when it's young black men, right? Not that it's not bad with everybody else, but it just seems that that's where the biggest pendulum swing has gone. From total violent depravity, right? Selling drugs and shooting people, to oh, now you can be gay and pregnant and transgender and a Satan worshiper. Why? What's going on? Why do y'all allow that? Right? Why is that okay? Music, fun, pop culture. Retards!
Yo, Elliot, how long should my workouts be?
Well, it really depends, right? Like, if you have a high volume workout because you're doing bodybuilding, or you need to hit like multiple strength modalities, right? Like I do. So I work speed, I work power, I work hypertrophy, all within the same workout. Or you could do split routines like minimalist workouts, right? I think Jim Wendler talks about doing like modified mini workouts, right? Where you like hit a main lift and then like maybe one or two accessory lifts. I don't think there's a hard and fast answer to that because it depends on who you are and what you need, right? There's all this science around, you know, not working out more than 45 minutes. And I'm sure they've got their good reasons why, and there may be something legit to it. But I don't think we should all abide by that because there are times when your sport requires that you build the longevity to train longer than 45 minutes. So if you get used to training for 45 minutes, but yet you are a football player or even a power lifter that has like an all-day meet, I don't know if that's the best approach, right? Like Louis Simmons used to have his guys drag sleds for like 20 minutes before the workout, right? So the world's greatest powerlifting gym had guys doing like hours long workouts sometimes, right? Because you come out there, you do conditioning first. That way you're kind of like pooped going into the workout. So he had that as a strategy. So it really depends on your strategy. Are you training for fat loss, right? If you're training for fat loss, sometimes you need more volume. You gotta do more work. If you're training purely for power, then maybe you could have a shorter workout. So I wish I could give you like the hard and fast, clean and right answer that applies to everybody in every situation, but I'd be a fucking liar if I did.
Yo, Elliot, what do you think about mentors and how do I find a good one?
So I think that the original OG mentor in life should be your father, right? And unfortunately, we live in a world that lacks fathers, lacks father energy, lacks trust in fathers, and fatherhood is on its decline. But that's where men get their first taste or touch of mentorship, right? Who else should be teaching you how to be, how to do, and how to think than the man that brought you into this world, right? But that, again, that's one of the biggest problems in our society right now. We suffer because of lack of father. Earthly father, heavenly father. So the Marxists have won. Now, in our secular world right now, because there's no fathers, everyone's looking for a father figure. I'm grateful for the role that I can play in this world for the many millions of men that watch my videos. But what ends up happening is you end up having a digital surrogate father figure. And for whatever it's worth, it'd be better to legitimately have a father. So what do we do, right? How do you find a mentor? Well, in the case of career, vocation, learning how to do what you need to do in life in order to earn a living, right? There was this process. If you study, if you read the book Mastery by Robert Greene, he talks about apprenticeship, right? So I'm ranting now, but here's another problem. Everybody wants what's in it for me. Where's my mentor? Where's my helper? Where's that person that's going to help me get along in life without first thinking, who can I contribute to? Who can I help out? Who can I be there as a mentee, as an apprentice, so that I can provide value and in exchange I can be around that father figure, that mentor figure, that elder figure, right? So in Robert Greene's book, he talks about the phase of apprenticeship that should require any path towards mastery. As an apprentice, you go into it humble, right? That's one of our problems. We're just very prideful in our culture. You go into it humbly, meaning I know nothing. How many of us, right, myself included, can walk into a situation and say, I don't know what I'm doing, I need help, and submit yourself to the governance and to the instruction and to the mentorship of a man. Robert Bly, in his book Iron John, talks about the lack of father, but because of the lack of father, there's a lack of father space within the young man, which means that he doesn't have room for the father because he doesn't know what it's like to be around a father. So he fills that room up with all forms of ideas, right? Information and seeming understanding of things in life, right? So you fill up that space and then there's no room to allow the mentor in. The mentor can't find space in you because you know too much or you have an anti-authority rebellious bent in yourself. Humility and emptiness are required as personal attributes for someone who's looking to be guided in that way, right? So the first thing I would say is look at yourself. Are you worthy of being mentored to, right? Do you have space in your life, in your soul for a mentor, right? And then after that, it would be a matter of in what direction, who can I serve, who can I support, and to what end, right? Like right now, so I was kind of like, I'm talking in circles and shit right now, but I was talking about having digital mentors, or even like Napoleon King talks about having a mental mastermind, right? Like in his book, he talked about how he would consult Abraham Lincoln in his mind, right? Like, so there are those who are quote unquote mentors in different areas that we may not actually ever meet, right? So I'm thinking about this example for myself right now, right? I have several digital or book read mentors, and right now I'm learning how to farm essentially. All right, I have my orchard I showed you last week, and the next step is either going to be bees or chickens. And so you know what I did this week? I started watching dozens of Joel Salatin's videos. You know Joel Salatin? He's like the farmer entrepreneur. He was the mentor to Ty Lopez. And he's got like 6 or 7 books on farming. You know what I did? I just went to Amazon and dropped like $250 on like 7 books from Joel Salatin, right? So he becomes like my mini mentor in a way, because I'm going to consume all his books, I'm going to watch his videos, and I'm going to start to try to apply what he's doing into the world. Now, if I wanted to take the next level, the fact that he's alive is a good thing, because then maybe I can hire him, right? What's in it for him? So more than likely, maybe somebody can go and pay him. I could pay him for a day to show me what I want, what I need to do, or if I have any questions, right? That would be legit to pay somebody because there's something in it for them. Or what I understand Joel Salatin has is he has an apprenticeship program where you go and you work on his farm. You go and you work on his farm, contribute to the farm, and as a result, you learn under his wing. You see what I'm saying? So these are all just my brain dump, mind vomit on this topic, but hopefully you could just pick something from there and it'd be useful to you, dude. Done. So right now I have Bruce, who's the nursery guy that I buy all my fruit trees from, and he's helping me plant all these berry bushes right now. And when we're all complete here, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stand, I'm gonna talk with him. He's gonna tell me what to do with the berries, how to fertilize them, how much water, what to do, what not to do, problems, FAQ, all that kind of stuff. So in a way, he becomes my mentor, right? Because I'm humble, I'm empty, I don't know anything. I don't pretend like I know anything just because I watched some YouTube videos and read a book. I'm going to, in a way, sit at the feet of a man that's more knowledgeable than me, right? He's like a 20-year arborist, you know, he's been doing this his whole life. So he deserves the respect of a humble mentee. And so I pay him, of course, but at the same time, I get delivered his decades worth of wisdom, right? Mentor, mentee.
Yo, Elliot, my son is going off and joining the military. I'm happy that he's going to do this as a man, but also I'm frightened. Would you let your son do this?
So, I love the military. If I believed in reincarnation, I would say that I was in the military in a previous life. I resonate with the men that serve, and there was a time when I applied for OCS, did real well in the test, but it was post 9/11 and they kept pushing back my date, and then it didn't happen, right? But I still have a tremendous amount of respect. In fact, my nephew at the time, he was maybe like 6 or 7, right? Michael was a kid, and he saw me training for the military, for the Marines, officer candidate school, and he was really inspired as a kid. He saw what I was doing, and then he grew up, and 2 years ago, yeah, he joined the Marines. Now, I do believe that there are those of us who are in our DNA, in our blood, in our psyche, are designed for war, right? I know I am, right? Some days I feel like I'm in the wrong place, like I should be doing battle somewhere, right? Like it's in me. I think a lot of men feel that way. Like life is almost like fake without the struggle of fighting and struggling and striving and battling and things of that nature, right? So we have different ways to release that through strength training or sports and stuff like that. But at the same time, I also have an inquiring mind. I ask questions. I like to see the bigger picture. And when I do that, I end up seeing things I don't like, right? I love America, huh? You know I love America. But at the same time, I don't trust our leadership. I don't trust our leadership. I don't trust that we're going into just wars. I believe in just war. I believe in a just war. But I don't think our wars are legitimate, right? I mean, since World War II, not a single war has been passed by Congress. They've all been like, what is it? Like when a president just decides he was going to do whatever he wants to do. Executive order. Most of them are by executive order, right? The people don't like war. We didn't want to go to war. And since 9/11, we've seen that we've wasted so much. So many lives have been wasted. So much money has been wasted. So much of a mess has been created. And you saw what happened in Afghanistan just a few weeks ago. So I know I'm kind of giving you like a roundabout answer here. My sentiment is pure with regard to the military and their servicemen. I love it. But where I have a hang up is in our leadership and whether or not you're going into a just war. That coupled with the mandatory vax, I'm not a fan of that, right? And if you're in the military, they're mandating it, they're forcing it on you. I guess you don't really own yourself at that point, right? Like when you sign that contract to go work for the government in that way, you legitimately sign your life away, right? So they can do whatever they want to do with you and you have no say. There's some value to that, but there's also a downside to that. So if I were in your shoes and my son wanted to go to the military, it was really in him and he desired it, and it wasn't because he had no other choice or there was nothing else for him to do or it was kind of like a last option, but he was that warrior spirit on the inside, I would have to give him my blessing. I would give him my blessing. Like, I love you, son. God bless you, and do the best that you can. This is your dharma. This is your calling. This is your place in life, and there's no denying that, right? And that may be the case for your son. So, congratulations, I would say. Congratulations. I hope he does well. I hope he survives. But if he doesn't, it's a noble death, and that he can do the right thing and maybe be a force for good change, legitimate change in the military. Because from what I see right now, they're all a part of the rainbow cult too. Right? What is the military doing right now? I saw, okay, because you're lucky you caught me in a ranting day today. I watched this video yesterday by Paul Joseph Watson. And he's talking about how China has banned simping, right? Did you know this? Check out Paul Joseph Watson and watch this video called China Has Banned Simping. And basically China has taken these efforts in order to re-masculinize and re-traditionalize their culture. Right? Because they know when their men are being men and their tradition is strong, they will whoop our ass because we're the ones that they want to whoop. So they showed a commercial for both the Chinese military and then for the American military. The Chinese military were like these tough dudes shouting and playing with weapons and doing like real manly things. Then they showed a fucking cartoon with 2 lesbians and a little girl, and it was all about the little girl wanted to be in the military. The whole thing was a joke. So as far as, you know, who's tougher? Right? Who's going to whoop whose ass? Just look at who's treating their men like men and who's treating their men like women. Anyway, so that's my little rant on that, dude. Done.
If you Google Private E1 pay, going straight into the military today, this will include your meals are free, your housing's free, and everything. When you start out, the pay is about $1,800 a month for an E1. When I went in, it was $83 a month. Next thing is, you sign up, you go in the Army, get your basic training through, make sure you sign up for jump school and Ranger school immediately. Okay? Jump school, they're paying about $100 a month for paratroopers now, extra in addition to 18, and Rangers about $250. By the time you graduate out of Ranger school, you'll probably be an E4 to E5, and you'll be making almost $3 grand a month. Yes. Highly recommended.
So highly recommended by a veteran here, Vietnam?
Yeah, 2 tours in Vietnam.
Amazing.
But I highly recommend it to any young man. Discipline. And that will carry over for the rest of your life. Whether you put in 4 years or 22 like I did, you will be disciplined for the rest of your life. After you retire out of the Army, you won't be able to sleep past 6 o'clock in the morning. No more daily naps. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
You're so drilled.
What are your thoughts on our current leadership?
Our current leadership sucks. It's the worst situation I've ever seen all the years I've been in the military.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party, in my opinion, has gone from a good party under John Kennedy, who would be a Republican today. If he was running for president today, John Kennedy would be a Republican. You will not hear a Democrat say, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, or vice versa. You know, that it's sad. Our borders are overrun. What we did to our friends in Afghanistan was totally wrong. It brings back memories from me in Vietnam when we left Vietnam with a group called the Mountain Yards, who helped us out along the mountains of Cambodia. And whenever we left Vietnam, Pol Pot came in and he created a thing called the killing fields. He did away with all those men.
Yeah.
That helped us, that kept us alive. It's wrong, totally wrong. You know, we don't leave anybody behind. I'm not a Marine. They always say we never leave anybody behind. I'm Army, but as a military person and loving my country so much, you never leave anybody in a war zone and pull out and just leave them there. You don't do it, it's wrong. And I think there's a lot of people that voted Democratic this past year that are very disappointed in the leadership they voted for. It was a bad mistake. And another thing, over the past 4 weeks, he's been on television a few times and he gets off and they will actually turn him off.
Right.
Turn him off. When have you ever heard of anybody being able to shut the President of the United States up? You can't do that.
Right.
Is somebody going to come in here and tell you how to run your business?
Right.
Not going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, you know, my business.
Who do you think is pulling his strings?
Pelosi, Schumer, Speaker of the House, probably. But I think, honestly, when he was elected, he was incapable to lead even when he was elected. Do I think Donald Trump's a better answer? No. I think Donald Trump's an idiot. I think he talks too much, pisses people off. But is he a better leader than Biden? Let me tell you something. Carter was a better leader than Biden, and that's not taking much. That's not taking much, honestly. This is the worst president this country's ever seen. And God forbid we've got to put up with 3 more years of this.
And given the situation, you still think it's a good idea for young men to go into the military?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because what is this country all about? Okay? This country's about that American flag.
Right.
Okay? This country's about freedom. You know, and we have helped so many countries become free. And I'd say do it. Go on in there. I don't foresee any wars in the near future.
Okay.
But if there is a war in the near future, it's totally different than Vietnam these days.
Right.
You have ways that, you know, we used to have to use a 12-digit map to find a location, like from here to maybe that little shelter out there, to bring in mortars to it. Now all they use is a laser from sky, bam, they got it. It isn't like it used to be.
Have you ever heard that we're in an unconventional war right now, and that that COVID was a bioweapon released by China to usher us into a war with them?
Boy, that's a really good question. I've heard different theories about COVID. There's no doubt in my mind it started in Wuhan, and there's no doubt in my mind this so-called doctor that we have telling us what to do with our lives every day is a frickin' idiot, and he had something to do with it. He helped them. He funneled money into Wuhan to help develop their killers. And now, you know, they just turn their back to the guy. It's like he's the world's greatest doctor. He's not. He's not. He's a phony. But, you know, we have to move on. And, you know, one thing, you know, 911 just ended again. And every time 911 comes up, I think about one thing. How close it brought Americans together. Think about it. Look back on that day. And the day after, I think I think the 12th is even a bigger message. How many, the American population, 85–90% pulled together. And we don't need another 911, but we do need to be pulled together.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your insight on this, my man. So, shit, people ask Elliott. That was another one in the can, right? Under the belt, another notch in the notch count of shit, people ask Elliott. So what is that, number 4 since we started this? Number 3, number 4? Yeah, so here's how this works best when you send questions. And obviously you see that whatever the question is, I'm willing to give you my opinion. And if you're interested in just hearing me rant, you want to hear my opinion on random things like Lil Nas X or going to the military, just post it down below and then I could use it for the next yo. And then you get your question answered in the next update series, Shit People Ask Elliott. So that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, like and subscribe, share, double tap, heart, and tell your friends to watch Elliott Host on the Shunt Camp channel. Done.